Welcome to the On the Money Sports Podcast. I am one of your hosts. I am O Money, the former On the Money Sports fantasy football champion, former League of Boom champion, former now defunct Ace Plumbing champion. However, over the weekend, many fantasy football champions were crowned. Many throughout the world, throughout the United States, throughout this state of beautiful New Jersey. There has been champions crowned and losers crying. However, on this podcast, one half of the mega powers of podcasting is going to come out here and let you know what he did this past weekend. Without further ado, your new Dynasty Champions League heavyweight fantasy champion, Rationals Beer Money Dynasty. I don't know. He has so many different variations and variants. I'm just going to call them the original. The Beer Money Boys are your Dynasty League champions of the 2023 fantasy season.
Thank you, Oscar, for that glorious introduction. Thank you, world. Thank you, On the Money Sports. Thank you, fantasy football. Thank you, Beer Money Boys, as we meet back at the epicenter of Nostalgia Mania, the On the Money Sports Lounge, which was rocking on Sunday, and it's rocking again tonight for another edition of On the Money Podcast, brought to you by On the Money Sports, the mega powers of podcasting, and the new reigning, defending champions, Dynasty League champion himself, the King of Kings, the Beer Money Boys, the 11-3 champs of the Dynasty League in year 2. And oh, how sweet it is to kick off the show with this Cape May IPA, a championship, a trophy en route to Casa de Soto, all that and much, much more. Ladies and gentlemen, what a sweet weekend it was. A happy new year to you from the On the Money Sports family. Last week, we were a little under the weather, so we couldn't go live from the lounge, but we are here after a 2-week exile, and how sweet it is to be back at the heart of Nostalgia Mania. I love it. Who's the rat?
Yeah.
That's a big question. I want to know because I am also wearing this jersey in solidarity with AJ Brown. I am here for AJ Brown since the media wants to misconstrue what he says and make him the target. I'm here to say he's not, but I'm also here to identify who is. So questions will be answered. I'm not here to tiptoe. I'm here to strut because it's the first podcast of the new season, of the new year, and I am super excited to be back in the flesh, baby. Salud. I love it. I freaking love it.
He did it. He's the champ.
I didn't even get the chance to share the podcast onto the multiple pages. I open it up and it's still on DraftKings Sportsbook. I don't want to look at that right now. I want to make sure that the podcast is being shared on all available pages.
Happy New Year, Julio.
Happy New Year, bro. How sweet it is. Let me just make sure I do the sharing here.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Burnham is in the building, and guess who else?
The champion of the Dead League, Bobby Burnham. Congratulations, my friend. Congratulations to you in a hell of a matchup. Well-deserved. I'm glad it was you. And Team Cookup always finds their way into championships, and not just finds their way into them. They mess around and win the whole damn thing. So tonight, I drink to you as well, my friend. I guess I should share this on Nostalgia Mania, right?
Why
That
not?
counts, yeah. I'm sharing it in the nostalgic universe. I gotta now with football being over soon, I'll be able to focus a little bit more on growing that page. As of right now, if you are on that page, you will be watching On the Money podcast as well. We need every ear to be on what we have to discuss here tonight because it's a big show.
Le champion.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. Bobby destroyed me in one of the 2 championship games I was in. There was no coming back. The 2 quarterback dead league where my QBs 1 and 2 were Kyler Murray and Nick Mullins, who they got me to the chip, right? And then as soon as the chip happened, Russ gets benched. Mullins gets benched until the second half of that game, which was totally insane. And I trotted out Jared Hall, and I got absolutely smoked by Bobby in his championship. But in the other championship, let me paint the picture for you because it was New Year's Eve. Okay? It was New Year's Eve. It was 7:30.
Yeah,
right
Nick,
after
he's
the
wearing
late
an Eagles
games.
jersey.
I was down by 100 in one league, and I was down by 24 in the other league. So it wasn't looking too good. Sunday night football, pregame shows, getting ready to ramp up. I go into my DraftKings sports book, and I say to myself, you know what I'm about to do? I'm about to place a $50 wager on the Packers money line, and I'm going to parlay it with a Jaden Reed anytime touchdown. Jaden Reed just so happened to be my last play in the Dynasty League. I was going up against Slick Larick, who was up 24 points and also had the Minnesota Vikings defense as his final play. And ladies and gentlemen,
Rick, 2 chips and a 3rd place.
yeah, he talked to me today, the day of, and told me that he won those 2. The one that he lost in was the league that we're in together, the Yahoo League, where he had the most points. Crazy squad. Him and I basically traded 6 or 7 players with each other. Excuse me. What up, Nick? I'm surprised you didn't see this the other day when I went live with it last Wednesday. I'm wearing it for multiple reasons, though. It's not just to antagonize. It's for a purpose because I stand by A.J. Brown. But right now, we are talking about Jaden Reed, the last beer money boy left in play. So I was a little bit disenchanted, one would say, heading into Sunday Night Football. I had a case of the doldrums. I was melancholy.
Thanks a lot, Philly, for the money line.
And, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But I made my bet. I put 50 on the Packers, and lo and behold, everything from that moment forward changed as Jaden Reed did his best Mariano Rivera impression. He looked me in the eyes, and he said, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Coach. I know you got a case of the doldrums right now. You're feeling melancholy. You ran out of Laffy Taffies because you ate them too fast. But we're going to the Super Bowl. We're here in the Super Bowl. We're taking the championship home. We're leaving here with the championship. I said, are you serious? He said, do I look like I'm playing? And he scored a 2nd touchdown for me. I win the championship by 2 points. I end 2023 winning a championship. I start 2024 as the Dynasty League champion. And Saquon Barkley is available for trade for anybody who's inquiring.
Open up the floodgates.
Woo! So since you switched teams, does that mean you owe yourself cheesesteaks now? Well, I mean, I like to make it in my mind like I owe myself cheesesteaks all the time. There's always a reason to get a cheesesteak. Some wings on the side, some fries. Cheesesteak mania, as far as the Eagles versus the Titans, might be over. But cheesesteak mania itself is forevermore. You know what I mean? It is forever. Screw the Titans. Screw the Eagles. I did it without them. I'm the champ, and they're not.
Woo!
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. I still do owe Drew
Woo!
I owe him 3 cheesesteaks now, though. So I do have the cheesesteak debt is piling up. I need to pay the debt to the man. We need to get Drew to the lounge to be able to kick back and chill with us and indulge in cheesesteaks. I know you probably won't eat all 3 at one shot. You can take them home with you. We can do a cheesesteak payment plan. Just want to get it done and over with. I want to get it done.
Where you at, Drew?
I don't know what he's doing. I had it front to Ed. Came in third. Came in third in my fantasy league. I also came in third in one league. Unfortunately, there's no payout for coming in third in that league. And it is a league where I had a few members of a list.
Well,
that
and
I
made it to the finals without making that stupid boneheaded move.
What boneheaded move is that? Laporta bench?
When I benched Laporta in Dynasty, I would have won.
It could have been you and me, Brett.
I would have beaten whoever I played the following week because I scored 217. However, I only scored $135 the following week. But I also didn't set my lineup.
I dropped 190 against Mikey in the first round. I dropped another 190, 193 in the second round. And then I went ahead and dropped 203 in the championship. And it all started with CeeDee Lamb, who is officially my championship game MVP. Now, Jaden Reed is my closer. CeeDee Lamb is my MVP.
Was TJ Hawkinson on waivers?
TJ Hawkinson was rage dropped on the waivers of the Champions Dynasty League. And what I did was, once you see the playoff picture, you scroll down a little bit and it says transaction history. And it lets you know everybody who was picked up and dropped.
But I thought nobody can do that during playoffs.
On Monday, since I was still part of the playoffs, I was still in the championship. Everything was still open. The league was open. On Monday into Tuesday, I made my waiver claims just like I would any other Tuesday. And lo and behold, at 2:45 in the morning, I was able to acquire TJ Hawkinson, Kevin Harris, and Bo Melton, another Green Bay Packer wide receiver who I was very interested in acquiring before the league closed down. I was able to get those players. The transactions were processed. The league was closed. And now there is a conversation happening within the league as far as those players and me getting them since the league is closed. Transactions processed, though. I made waiver claims. Nobody else did. I was paying attention. So while everybody was sleeping, I made those moves. I acquired those 3 players, and they are currently on my roster as we speak.
Oh, I didn't even know what happened. I'm just learning right now.
I cannot put Hawkinson on the IR because after that happened, the league locked up, and it basically was a thing. Now, the first voice opposed to my actions was none other than the man that I beat in the championship, who, according to him, he didn't even want to put Hawkinson back on Netta's team because she's the one who dropped Hawkinson for
the leader,
Tanner Hudson. He said that you put Hawkinson into the waivers and have somebody use one of their draft picks to acquire Hawkinson off of the waiver wire. That was his recommendation.
Who was that, the commish?
No, that was Slick, the guy that I beat in the championship.
That's actually not a bad
Not a bad idea. And me, listen, I didn't have these guys when I won the championship. I've said it twice already. I'll say it a third time. I will do whatever is in the best interest of the league.
Integrity.
League integrity at the end of the day means more to me because, hey, I just won this league, okay? But the thing is, I wasn't just satisfied with the championship. I played the waiver wire for week 18 because some waiver wires are active because for some reason or another, some leagues play a week 18 championship. I know our league doesn't, but I still have my week 18
If you're in a
lineup.
week 18 league, you're insane for being in that league, and you deserve to lose whatever championship comes your way.
No, I will have league integrity because I am not going to be the reason why any fantasy league goes under. I'm not going to be the reason for that. I love the leagues that I'm in. I have the leagues that are near and dear to my heart and then the other leagues that I play in. But the leagues that I care about most are the leagues that I want to see grow and thrive. And being a part of the league where I just won the championship, the last thing I want to do is to see that league go under because of some BS. So if everybody or those who are actually active in the Dynasty League would, give their thoughts or views as far as what would be the best route to take as far as this transaction thing, I'm all ears. If the best solution would be to put the players on the waiver wire, or if Netta wants TJ Hawkinson back, which, I mean, she dropped him, so I don't know why, but if she wants him back, you can have him back, and we just move on. I'm not going to cry over it because at the end of the day, I'm doing too much conquering to worry about crying. I'm up. I'm the champ. I did it without TJ Hawkinson. I just like the idea of acquiring him
I
before
seen
the
Terrell
season
wants
shut
draft
down.
compensation.
Yeah, he's looking for draft compensation right now because this is that
I
point.
remember everybody said F them picks.
Oh, yeah, they did. But then they realized they kind of needed them now because you're looking at what you have for the 2024 rookie picks. And, I mean, bro, don't ask me about 2024 picks.
Who's got number 1 overall? RJ?
Dooley. I believe Dooley has the number 1 overall pick.
Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be the number 1 pick in the draft.
Dooley has 4 2024 draft picks for this dynasty league because this league, even though some league mates in that league are sleeping, the dynasty league is year round. Moves are going to be made. The free agency period is going to be opened up. There's going to be the trading period in the offseason. So stuff is going to be going down. I traded away my 2024 picks that were actually worth something for Trey Lance. Trey Lance is currently sitting on my taxi squad right now. Don't ask me for picks for this year. I don't have them. If anything, I'm right there with Terrell. I'm looking to try to get myself into this rookie draft this year because I took myself out of it last year. My pick is with Mikey right now. I'm looking to trade Saquon Barkley, and I'm looking to trade Christian Watson, and I'm going to start there. And I'll work my way down. There's other players that could be part of negotiations, but that's where I'm starting with for this offseason, with those 2 guys. Because those are a pair of guys who still have value, but also at the end of the day, I did it without them too. So I'm willing to trade. I'm willing to trade them away if needed. Our league has to restart. No, our league needs to wake up because there's no sense in restarting with the same people who are going to be asleep through most of the year.
I'm just interested. I feel as though nobody should be able to trade any 2025 draft picks
because we don't know if it's gonna
exactly. I feel like all 2025 draft picks. Mikey, I know you're listening. I respect you, my brother, but you as the league commissioner in the Dynasty League cannot allow any picks of 2025 and above to be traded.
Well, 2025
they
would
cannot be traded.
2025 would be the last year.
No, because it's a 3-year commitment.
2020 next year's the last year.
This upcoming season will be the 3-year commitment. Will be the 3rd year that everybody agreed to commit to.
So we need to play out the commitment.
And
that
we already know 2 people want out.
All right. Okay.
So therefore, the only fair thing to do, the only right thing to do, is that if it's not a 2024 pick, then it should not be a part of any compensation package at all.
Oof.
It's not fair.
That's interesting.
How are you going to trade for something that it's not even going to be there?
It's a woozy. It's a wazi.
Yes.
I get that.
This is Wolf of Wall Street.
It's like getting a first-round pick in a draft that's never going to happen, basically.
This is it.
So the 2025 season is not happening in this dynasty.
I don't think so.
All right. So we play out this year, right? We play out what we agreed to because everybody was in agreement to play out this season. And then after that, whatever you guys want to do, it's up in the air. Because at the end of the day,
if you want to do a year, just a regular redraft, and then maybe the 2026 season, I'm down to do whatever. This is one of my cheapest leagues. So I'm down to do whatever.
We redraft for a dynasty league where everybody understands that it's going to be a dynasty.
We all know the ball and chain has told me time to cut some leagues. So I got to listen to the ball and chain.
Whoever's committed to being in a dynasty league will be a part of the new dynasty league. That's what it comes down to. If we're going to renew it, you know what I mean? Then we'll, for my women's league, if we're going to renew it, then what we're going to do is we would just do a redraft, right? We'll start from scratch. We'll have our picks again, but we're going to, at the very least, play out 2024 as the league that we agreed to playing out. And the 2024 picks are all over the place.
Kill sick picks, and we just create one dynasty.
No, we're not killing sick picks. Sick picks needs to live on because sick picks.
Well, then we kill the dynasty league.
Well, we're going to play out the league. We're going to play out 2024. And then Champions Dynasty League will be renewed.
It's not like you don't got your Superflex Dynasty already.
Yeah, we have that league, but we also have guys like Dooley who acquired 2024 picks and has 4 of them.
We got to.
He has the right to use those picks. You know what I mean? So
you're absolutely right. But under no circumstances should any 2025 draft picks be used.
League integrity. That's going to be a key word that we're going to be using a lot on this podcast. especially during the summertime.
I'm gonna do it now.
As we head into the 2024 NFL season, the off season.
I'm gonna do it right here, live on air.
The chaos that is free agency,
due to the fact that some will be walking from this league after their
and just
3-year commitment.
Walking away from teams that they gutted.
You should
completely gutted.
You should not.
For all that, take away the 2026 picks. Don't even show.
Should not be allowed to trade any 2025 picks and above.
I can respect that because it goes along.
It's not fair
with the guidelines of playing.
If we will be most likely doing a redraft after the 2024 season.
League integrity. It's being posted in the Dynasty League as we speak. We know that some people are watching that Dynasty League because they were watching me. They saw and realized that Hockenson was available once I made him part of my team, and then it was an issue. They had no idea he was available. Otherwise, they would have put in claims for him too, because you still would have been able to do it before the deadline. But nonetheless, we digress. Like I said,
I did not fail reading class. I was actually very well versed. I always passed with flying colors in those classes.
English lit was always my best subject.
Speaking of which, it's Terrell that made that comment.
It's not fair that we most likely. Yeah, you gotta let Dula use his picks, man. It's only right.
I agree. I said that.
You gotta let him use his picks.
said that. But no 2025 and above pick should be allowed to trade. I don't care.
Everyone will have their 2025, 2026, 2027. Like, you'll have your assortment of picks at your, whatever you want to do at your digression. You know what I mean? Like, whatever you want to do once the league is renewed, you trade away all those picks. That's how you want to live. And then we'll come to an agreement on how many years we'll do this league for, whether it be another 3 years, whatever it is. And
I think it should be an every 3-year thing.
Nick wants to quit now. But it's gonna come down to a vote. And in this league, like I said, there's like 3 or 4 of the teams that are on D&D right now. So that becomes the issue when not everybody is active year-round in a dynasty format. That's the problem. I'm not going to slow down my game because other people are sleeping at the end of the day. It's competition. So we'll figure out what we're going to do.
It's so woozy. It's so wazzy.
Restarting and drafting over now would be stupid. Like, we committed to 3 years. We're going to at least play out our commitment. Nobody's forcing anybody to stay longer than they need to. Like, nobody's.
Well, we did do this. We all agreed 3 years.
Because there was the conversation of turning it into a 5-year, and then there was there was backlash because everybody who was under the agreement that we're doing a 3-year league was like, hold on, we said 3 years. I made the moves based on 3-year format, so we're gonna respect the
a lot
rules
of people who made traded their picks in the first season. All that. Some people were going all in for their first to win a title in the first 2 years. It worked for some.
I built my team to be like I said it. My team has a 2-year championship window. We won the title in year 1, and now this second year, you know what I mean? 2025 picks have already been traded.
How?
Terrell, what do you think about this? Do you think that we play the 2025 year out? Because you've already got cats that want to leave.
I'm out. Nah, bro.
Bro, we got to at least play out this year.
I will walk after the 2025 season. After next season, I'll walk if we're not redoing this.
And some of the teams...
Because there's no way in hell you're going to convince somebody to take over. Sorry, Julio. There's no way in the world anybody with a sane mind is taking Julio's team.
He's not. His team's terrible, but there are other teams that are not that far off from his team. I'm paid up for next 2 years. I'm loaded, but half the teams ain't play.
Well, Nick is paid up for the next two.
So you already signed up for the next year, pal. You can't go. You already bought the ticket. You're getting on the plane. All right. You're taking the flight. You're already committed to next year, no matter what. And then we can renew the league with a new draft, whatever you guys want to do.
After this year, there's people that are going to walk. You can't convince someone to take over a shit team because it's not fair and it's not right. Especially if that team's already traded draft capital. How is that? You can't convince somebody to spend $75+ plus.
Nobody's going to invest in that.
No one.
Nobody's going to invest in that. You got to play it out.
Only the idiot that Leonardo DiCaprio sold that aerodynamic shit that never even existed.
Even the teams on D&D are at the very least setting lineups for their matchups. So at the end of the day, you have to play it out with what you created for yourself at this point in time. Whatever you did in the last 2 years, your team is a reflection of that at this moment in time. And from there, once we get done the 2024 season, enter the 2025 season, we have we redraft. We have all the picks. Like,
you guys can say all you want. It doesn't matter, Terrell. You're just saying that because your team's good, and you're not going to convince people.
Won games. How many games could he have won, though?
Like, yeah, like
being
really.
Realistic? I saw who his wide receiver 1s and 2s were on a week in, week out basis. There's only so much setting of lineups he can do.
I really don't care. That is not true. Then how come you can't salvage your teams when you suck? Like, how can't I salvage my team when I suck?
You think that team can be salvaged? Do you honestly believe that? Or...
That team cannot be salvaged, and whoever believes that is smoking crack.
There are at least 3 teams in this league that have no hope, like whatsoever. But that's what they created for themselves.
You're right.
Like that's and it is a long game, but at the end of the day, we also agreed to the terms of the league, which is a 3-year league. So it's a long game. And then the minute we said we were going to add 2 years to this league, everybody said that they were playing it out and making the trades they made for a 3-year system. So now we're saying we're going to play out the 3 years, but now you want to move the goalpost forward a year. Like we can't just redraft this year. That's stupid. Just because you don't like what you put together.
We finish what we got, and then that's it.
I'm not saying Terrell doesn't want to redraft. I'm not saying he is. No. I'm just saying it wouldn't we have to play out at least what we.
No, you're right. We have to play out year 3.
And then if we do the redraft for the 2025 year, then I'm cool with that. Like
league integrity, people. It's hard to salvage any team if there's not much to a waiver wire. Whatever the rules are, the rules. End of story. Refs need to learn the rules and be consistent.
I'm playing it by the rules that were implemented from the very beginning.
No, you're right. Listen,
that's it.
I won't argue that. Listen, we're playing year 3, and then we're gonna all have a come to Jesus moment and figure out what we do.
Like for a lot of us in the Champions Dynasty League, it was our first time being in a Dynasty League, so a lot of it was like we were learning as we were going together. So at the very least, I'm playing it out by the rules that we established.
I'm not just giving you any spot,
and
I'm giving you my spot.
If we make this new Dynasty League, where we're renewing the Champions Dynasty League, and we might have some new faces coming into the mix since it's a redraft, we at least allow those new members to be able to draft their team, so that it's like you're going to commit yourself to this team for this amount of time.
He has no picks this upcoming season. Did you know that one, Terrell?
They're gone. I don't know how many games he would have been able to win, but the fact of the matter is that he
where Noli?
His running backs are Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, Dalvin Cook. So it's hard to.
Yo, I offered that man Deontay Johnson for Dalvin Cook. Thank God he turned me down.
That's a shitty trade. That's a shitty deal. That's terrible.
Whew, I'm so excited that he said no. Because that would have killed me.
I'm just saying Saquon Barkley is going to be available this offseason. Christian Watson is going to be available this offseason. Just let me know.
Travis Swift is available.
What moves you want to do. Travis Swift is going to be available.
Josh Allen's available.
He should have took that. Yes, he should have.
George Pickens is available.
Because Dalvin Cook is no longer a Jet. He is unemployed right now. So Dalvin Cook's dynasty value at the moment is not as high as, let's say a Breece Hall, who at this point in time, I'm kind of upset with myself that I didn't draft Breece Hall and I didn't kind of give him that year off, because he would look amazing in that RB2 spot right now.
Jamar Chase is available? You sound crazy.
I will be inquiring. But I can't use the 2025 pick, so it's going to have to come down to a player-for-player agreement. If this is going to be the last hurrah of the Champions
Hey,
Dynasty
Mikey, is Isaiah Pacheco still on the no-trade list?
Mahomes
or Devontae Adams?
So Patrick Mahomes is available. So just like that, the trade market for this league, now that we know 2024 is going to be the big bang year of this first 3-year set for Dynasty, the trade market is going to be absolutely insane in the Champions Dynasty League. Pat Mahomes is now available. Jamar Chase is available. Saquon Barkley, Christian Watson, Travis Swift.
And Rick said, let our brother get in the leagues.
We should, though.
There might be if we redo the dynasty.
There will be openings, and if you're down to be a part of the renewal of this league, then you are more than welcome, and you have the opportunity to pick. We're not going to allow you to inherit a disaster. Okay, that's what we don't want to do.
I seen a tweet. They showed the video of Pacheco running, and the tweet said he looks like he's running hard, but he's really just moving slow. I was like, oh.
It said like he was doing high knees.
Yeah.
But dude, he runs hard, dude. He'll wear a sombrero. That's it. You're in, kid.
Rick is a great.
At this point, he'll say or do anything to get into the freaking leagues. The way it's looking with the Dynasty League, there's more than likely going to be an opening after we play out.
Probably going to be like 3
season.
openings.
I mean, it's freaking crazy.
Set your damn lineups.
Set your damn. If you're going to commit to be in a league, then be in the league. That's all I'm saying.
Just so what? You're 2-10. Set a damn lineup.
Like there was. I had teams. Okay. That absolutely.
Bro, in the league, I won the championship last year. I only won 2 games.
I set a lineup,
but I set my lineup every week, regardless.
14 weeks. If you don't set your consolation lineup, I'm not going to knock you for that. That's different. But if you have a 14-week season, you set your lineup, bro. Like you. It feels better to win a league with integrity.
I was high off of winning the championship in On the Money Sports last year.
This was you.
I had the whole.
Now I'm playing my guitar because now I'm riding high.
And congratulations to Danny for becoming another
sports champion.
We now have 1, 2, 3, 4 2-time champions in the On the Money Sports League.
Congrats
as
to
Danny defeated Alexi in the finals.
He did it.
200 plus to 160 something.
Yeah.
The man took Jalen Hurts number 1 overall.
First overall pick, wins the league.
In a 2-quarterback league. He had the number 1 overall. He did his thing. He's the champ. And the nameplate's getting on that. I'm ordering the nameplate tomorrow. I should have it by next week. And Danny, I'll make a special delivery to your house and drop the championship belt off.
Yep. He did it. He went with Jalen Hurts. It's time for you to give up the belt. And now Danny gets to play with the belt like a guitar because he's going to be walking into next year's On the Money Sports 2-quarterback draft with the belt.
Well, what helped him basically win that league is the player that probably helped 80% of fantasy champions win this past weekend. C.D. Lamb. C.D. Lamb in our league had 50 points, 60 points, was it? Because of, the bonus plays.
59 in Dynasty. This man, I went to the back at work during the Cowboys and Lions game because I had a couple of tables. And when I came back out to the front of the house, that man had just scored a 92-yard touchdown. And I already knew off the rip, it was the first quarter. CeeDee Lamb already had me 35 points.
And on top of that, Thursday night, he started off good with Breece Hall, 27 points. Just think about this, Mike. Maybe you should have started Breece.
Who
else did he have that gave up a good game, too? He had 3 players that gave him Danny. He had the 27 from Brees Hall, the 60
It was a hell of a
from
start.
Lamb,
Yeah, he had
and he had like another 30 points. I can't remember who the other guy was.
But Danny builds teams that are built for the playoffs. Like Danny, his guys all go off on the same week, and then you have the misfortune of having to play him in the first round or the second round. Like it happened to me a couple years ago when I got bounced in the first round this year of the On the Money Sports League. The last time I made the playoffs 2 years ago in that league, I got eliminated by Danny because I played one of those teams where at first when he drafts it, you're kind of thinking to yourself, damn, that's an interesting move. And then the week you actually have to play him, he drops 260 on your head because all those guys that he drafted go out there and they don't just have a day. They have the day, and they have it on you at your expense. I don't know, bro, because I don't know if anybody's dropping out this year. You should have just held on to it. Honestly, you should have, you were already in it. At the end of the day, I don't understand. What's up, Seth? Lamb the GOAT.
Yeah, that was crazy, bro.
Lamb went crazy. Yes, I did. I did trade CD Lamb to you.
That's crazy because you're a CD Lamb truther.
I'm a CD Lamb guy. Look, he's my dynasty wide receiver one. I love him, but at the time, I wasn't
You're
crazy
a CD
about
Lamb truther. You're a Brandon Cooks loyalist.
Beer Money Boys Gold Jacket Hall of Famer Brandon Cooks. He's on that short list with AJ Dillon and
Joe Mixon.
And a few other. Joe Mixon is a Gold Jacket Beer Money Boy Hall of Famer.
Good news is you never got bounced in the first round in the Brawlers League.
Yeah,
is that because you never made the playoffs?
Because I never made the playoffs. I've been
boom,
in that
boom.
league. Yeah, it was two sides to that. It was a multiple face joke. So it's and he knew I was gonna get it. That league, for some reason or another, I've been in that league for 2 years, bro, and I have a combined total of 4 or 5 wins in that league. Everything goes horribly wrong for me in that league. Everything. The minute Nick Chubb broke his freaking leg on TV in that league, forget it,
bro.
The whole locker room. I lost the locker room when Chubb broke his leg.
That's why when people look at me and they're like, "Yo, you let Alexi get CMC in the back end of the second round." Well, people need to understand. Yes, I picked Justin Fields first, which was crazy, which was insane.
In retrospect, that was insane by me.
However, my turnaround was Nick Chubb. Who would not take Nick Chubb?
I retired and gave my
You shit all over my name. Is that true?
Ever since Rick gave me his spot in that league, which he's won 3 championships in, bro, these last 2 years I've been terrible. I've been absolutely terrible.
Who would have took Nick Chubb at the 7th over, at the 4th over, the 3rd overall spot in the second round?
Bro, I drafted Nick Chubb. I love Nick Chubb.
I drafted Nick Chubb in 2 leagues.
I mean,
but at Surge's thing, I know I was crazy. I know I had shit running quarterbacks, but for the most part, Russell Wilson performed well.
But you have to explain the format. The context of this is that in the Gridiron Goats League, it is a 2 quarterback league.
And I went crazy. I picked Kelsey first for the first time ever. I said, "Yo, Kelsey, that's a tight end. Basically, that's a wide receiver. I'm going to get 15 points a game." Then I went with Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones, Jonathan Taylor, and boom, 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 boom. Thanks for nothing, all 4 of y'all. And the crazier part, ladies and gentlemen, is
bro.
I missed the playoffs by 1 game.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the crazier part.
He waited until the 5th or 6th round in a 2 quarterback league to draft a quarterback.
I drafted Daniel Jones and Russell Wilson.
And then he drafted a bunch of guys who didn't do anything.
Russell Wilson actually played well fantasy-wise.
No, Russ was cooking at first. Russ was cooking. And then it just started getting average. He started averaging 1 touchdown per week, and it just wasn't – the numbers were not sustainable. And in the 2 quarterback league, you already know that the format is going to completely shift as far as how fast quarterbacks fly off the board.
But they never do in that league. But all of a sudden, this past season,
it changed.
Everybody started grabbing QB.
And that league evolved 2 years in the span of 1 because all of a sudden we saw in that 1st and 2nd round the quarterbacks fly off the board. I drafted Patrick Mahomes
Bro,
in the first round.
Terrell, my wide receivers were good in that league too. I had DJ Moore and Deontay Johnson and Zay Flowers.
Was Deontay Johnson good this year, though?
Nah, he got hurt. He was never the same.
All right.
But so Zay Flowers, DJ Moore were point on point.
You got to stop drafting Steelers.
Sam Laporta. Right? I drafted Sam Laporta. Laporta was in my flex. If the running backs had never got hurt and produced the way they would have, I'd have been in the playoffs. And I would have been good in the playoffs because I would actually, you know what? I probably wouldn't have kept all the running backs because how weak the running back market was. I probably would have been able to trade one of them for like a second tier, like a tier 2 QB.
You made the move that worked for a lot of people with Jonathan Taylor, where you drafted him and then you stashed him off to the side. The problem is, when you stashed Jonathan Taylor off to the side,
Addison.
You needed big hitters that were going to come up to bat at the running back
and
position.
Then I would have, but
Aaron
my
Jones
big
did
hitter
not go up to bat.
Oh yeah, he got hurt after week 1, and
Aaron
Chubb
Jones
broke his leg in Pittsburgh.
Aaron Jones needed the IR spot more than Jonathan Taylor did, it turns out. And so,
yo, Serge, can we talk about that, man? Can we get more than 2 spots for a freaking IR, man?
Give me 4 at least.
NFL players are getting hurt at an alarming rate. 2 IR spots is not enough. Now, I get it. You don't want no one to abuse it and try to keep somebody that, you know, on IR when they're not on IR still.
Terrell waited until the 9th round to draft.
Well, that's a draft you were a part of.
I didn't realize he did that, though. You don't always see what everybody's doing right away when you're caught up in the moment. You have to look back at the board.
Bro, you traded your first-round pick in that draft.
Yeah.
And you were still able to get Anthony Richardson in the 2nd round.
I got him at the 206. I still went to the playoffs. I got bounced in the 1st round, but I wasn't the worst team in that league, like some projected. I beat a lot of those teams.
You traded that number 1 pick, didn't you?
I never had I traded the 1st and 2nd round picks to Terrell for Devontae Smith, which again I'm not mad at. I know maybe it's not the sexiest pick in the world, but I'm not mad at it. I felt like at the time I needed it. I could afford to do it, and this year I have a 1st round pick. I have a 2nd, 2/3, and a 4th for the Superflex Dynasty League, and I have Anthony Richardson coming back. If the guy could just learn how to slide like a normal quarterback can, I should be okay. You know what I mean? And I think that I also need to look into getting myself another quarterback.
You gave him too much for Devontae Smith.
Maybe I overpaid, but be honest. If you're in a league with me, if you're in a league, a dynasty league, whatever league it is, you guys know that if there's a player that I want, I'm willing to pay for that player. Let's be honest.
You're not getting that deal in Champions, bro.
Need that deal in Champions. You have, good luck. Because now we're not trading those 2025. You just got a bunch of picks that are just sitting there because nobody's going to inherit the damage that was done to some of these football teams for one reason or another. Like, you're not going to get the value. You're going to get a player-for-player type value. And it's
in Surge's league, you went Mahomes Burrow.
Yeah, ask me how that turned out. I went 4-10 because Mahomes did nothing, and Burrow was out for 6 weeks. So, stacking Joe Burrow with T. Higgins was not the play that I thought it was going to be this year. I feel like a lot of people who stacked Mahomes with Travis Kelce feel the same way. Like, some of the stacks died a terrible death through the entirety of the season. And the problem is you start your studs, right? That's what they tell you every single week. You start your studs. So every single week you have to start Tony Pollard and Stephon Diggs and Patrick Mahomes, no matter what the numbers tell you.
Diggs did nothing for anybody this year.
He hasn't done anything for about 2 months.
No.
He hasn't done anything for about 2 months.
He better do something this Sunday night, or they might not make the playoffs.
Dude, I have the list. I made an all-bus lineup, and you tell me if there's anybody who is more deserving.
Bring it off. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
On this list. This is the
champion irrationals list.
This is the list
of
guys,
how many people?
Like, imagine drafting these players. It's you're doing a fantasy lineup. I did a whole fantasy lineup. You have.
Oh, you put by position.
Yeah, I got 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a quarterback, a flex, a defense, and a tight end. I got every single position down the board, and if there's a name that deserves to be on this list more than this name, you can correct me because I'm always ready to admit when I'm wrong. The first name, the starting quarterback bust of the year, none other than Patrick Mahomes. That guy right there, I can tell you for myself, having drafted him where I drafted him, it did not pay off. It did not pay off whatsoever. Patrick Mahomes is the number one name on that list. If there was a quarterback that was more hyped than him, that did less than him, you can give me his name right now. The only name I could think of is potentially Justin Herbert, right? Because we came into the year hyped about Herbert, and you watch these Chargers games, and it was just like, bro, like, it's like you're pulling teeth, bro. It's like I'm trying to make a basketball parlay watching them play football. No, I can't put Jalen Hurts on that list, bro.
Nah, you can't. Jalen
Not
Hurts,
for fantasy football. He had like 50
this is what saved Jalen Hurts. Running
push.
touchdown. Yeah.
Tush push. That's
Justin
it.
Fields, I would say.
I'm talking about consistently terrible throughout the year, though. Fields, what hurt Fields was the fact that he wasn't there for 4 weeks. So I guess it falls in line.
Right when he was getting hot, he got hurt.
It falls in line with the Joe Burrow argument where Joe Burrow was missing for about 6 weeks, but Fields still had a couple of good weeks. Also, though, it wasn't like last year, though. Like, Fields didn't give me like a 60-burger this year or anything like that. Like, I was in Dynasty, I was starting Gardner Minshew and winning my weeks with Gardner out there airing it out compared to the points that Justin Fields was getting. So I get it. Okay, those are solid names right there. All right, so we got Patrick Mahomes. We got Fields, Justin Herbert, I feel like is a good one. Jalen Hurts, I can't really say because there was some weeks where he was single-handedly carrying my team with some of the points he was getting. My number one, my RB1, as far as the buzz go, is Tony Pollard. That dude, I got bounced 2 weeks ago in a league where, you know, I had Tony Pollard, and I'm starting him every single week, bro. Not only am I starting him, but I'm out trying to trade for Tony Pollard week 12, week 13 type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking for him because I'm expecting for this guy to be a buy low at the end of the year and to just go off. But it never happened. Like, this cat gave me 5 points in a playoff game where it's just like, dude, like, are you sick, bro? Because you're making me sick. And like, I'm sick of looking at you. And you know what? And Ali Eckler is the second. That was my RB2, bro. As much as it hurts, that cat was just not it this year, bro. He was not it. The running backs injured the running back argument terribly. And he is just one of the many names on that list. And the problem is he played more weeks than a lot of the guys who were on the shelf for a month and a half at a time. You know, Kamara was in trouble. Jonathan Taylor was banged up, you know, on IR. Like, Eckler was rough because you're spending a first-round pick on Eckler. That's another part of the conversation where you might be able to get Tony Pollard at a steal like I did in a 2-quarterback league. I got him in the 3rd round. Eckler, you're spending a first-round pick in some 2-quarterback leagues. Once you get some of the big three where Pat Mahomes,
Elite Eckler was going in the 1st round, and the majority of the drafts I was a part of that were traditional PPR.
Like, getting drafted in that same tier with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Like, we saw it with our own eyes. It's Austin freaking Eckler, you know? And I think that some of the hype that we had.
Dameon Pierce did regress a lot.
Dameon Pierce, that's a good honorable mention. Devin Singletary just took all of his shine. Some of the hype that we had on Justin Herbert kind of automatically was inherited by Austin Eckler in a sense because you knew that he was going to be the go-to target in that offense. But, you know, you lose Mike Williams, and the Chargers just were bad, bro. They couldn't put up 20 points. Bro. Before Justin Herbert even got hurt.
Keenan Allen being out, Quentin Johnson not stepping up in the draft position that he was drafted in.
Austin was top 5 in drafts. I agree with that, bro. People were like, wherever you Najee Harris. Bro, I wasn't going in the 1st round for no damn Najee Harris.
Nobody was picking Najee Harris.
I will say,
we're talking about 1st round running backs, you doofus.
Austin Eckler, bro, like that cat was like the
He
first.
did a lot more than
Dude.
Eckler did.
I remember coming out and saying.
Did a lot more than Pollard did.
I remember coming out and saying that Austin Eckler being drafted over CMC, I understand why people would do that. I said that. We said a lot of things in the summertime, and that's one of the things I remember coming out of my mouth, where I made the argument for Austin Eckler to be as valuable as CMC.
Yes, you did.
I was wrong. I was wrong. CMC is the clear-cut favorite. He's 101 still to this day, with injury risk and all. Because everybody who was drafted before him did not give you the production that CMC gave you. And CeeDee Lamb and Tyreek Hill were falling to the back end of the first round because of some of the names that we were.
And it's crazy because Eckler was the big, we need to get paid more. And look at the year he gave.
So you want to hear my wide receivers 1 and 2?
Yep.
My wide receivers 1 and 2 are Stephon Diggs and Jerry Jeudy. And maybe Jerry Jeudy is partly me thinking that this was going to be like a crazy, like, you know, this was going to be the breakout year for Jerry Jeudy, but Cortland Sutton is the man out there.
Derrick Henry has been a bust for fantasy as well this year.
But Henry was rough. Henry's on this
because he was
list
big top
with
5,
these
top
guys.
6 in traditional PPR.
But he was also falling off the board compared to some of these other names. Cooper Kupp. That's an interesting one. I feel like with some of these guys, like how when Cooper
Kupp missed like 6 games.
What was his best week this year though? Like he at least gave you like boom weeks where it like at least he showed up. You know, like some guys like Christian Watson and Jerry Jeudy, like those guys were MIA for the entire season. I drafted these guys onto the same team and they were hurt the entire
Jalen Waddle had good weeks.
Jamar Chase had a big boom week. I don't know.
Jamar Chase was shit for the first month of the season.
Jamar Chase gave me a lot more than Stephon Diggs did, though.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Calvin Ridley underperformed the expectations he was thought to have.
Stephon Diggs didn't break 100 yards since week 6. And you're starting this guy every freaking week.
You can't justify benching him.
You can't leave it on the bench. And the problem is you're leaving points on the bench. You just didn't realize other guys were going to be more productive. Or it's just like, it makes the conversation crazy for 2024 because of the amount of players that are going to be falling down the draft boards. Like the amount of names we're going to see in the second or third round are just going to be absolutely insane. We got Scary Terry, we got Calvin Ridley, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Cooper Kupp. At tight end, I've got Travis Kelce because as far as what we expected from him, like he wasn't even tight end 1. Tight end 1 was TJ Hawkinson, roughly, for the entire season. It wasn't
Sam Laporta.
Sam Laporta ended up taking the crown, with his run at the end, and it wasn't even close. Travis Kelce was a no-show for a lot of weeks. He's sitting there in your starting tight end spot, giving you 8 points. What are you doing with that? You ain't beating nobody with Travis Kelce giving you 8 points. That's the guy you thought was going to give you 50. You're not even counting. You're not even looking at what his projection is for that week because you know that he's going to give you the points you need. And Kansas City's offense is just, ever since Eric Bieniemy is out of the picture, oh my God, it's just a hard watch. Like it's just truly, truly a hard watch.
Sam Laporta, tight end 1.
He is tight end 1.
Hell, Jake Ferguson had a better year than Travis Kelce in my eyes. Am I wrong?
Yeah, there's no other tight ends matter. Mark Andrews got hurt such a long time ago that the conversation was already a short
Dallas
list.
Goedert didn't live up to the hype.
Goddard was trash this year. Dallas Goedert was
Pat
trash.
Freiermuth did not live up to any expectation.
Pat Freiermuth.
There were magazines that me and you were looking at that were talking about Freiermuth top 7.
You can't be drafting Steelers players and playing them in fantasy.
It's over.
They're not fantasy viable players, okay?
They don't got a quarterback.
That's just not, you can't, okay? You can't.
The day they get a quarterback,
those are waiver wire players that you scoop up for depth on your bench if you're trying to actually win in fantasy football. Because injuries happen during the season. It's good to have 2 tight ends. It's good to have 5 or 6 receivers. they are options. You don't go out
Pat
there and
Frymuth
reach
had
for
almost
them.
800 yards last year. This dude only got 260, I think, this season.
That man has 0 points in the fucking
That's
fantasy.
crazy.
I got 0 points. That's like when I started Buddy Hield the other night and he got me 3 points. Like, bro, what are you doing the whole time? What are you guys trying to teach him a lesson? You're not giving him the ball? You icing him out? How are you not involved in the game? How are you not involved in the game? How is Pat Fryermuth giving you 0 points in that offense where it's got to be so easy to get a target? How has he got nothing? How can you give people nothing? I drafted that guy in 5 leagues. None of those teams made it that far. But if they did, I would have definitely started him because it's Pat Fryermuth.
3 points in 35 minutes played, Buddy Hield.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, he gave me 3 points, bro. Bro, if Rob cannot manage to beat me in Supreme Baller Society this week, I don't know what to tell him. Because Buddy Hield went out there. I started him on Monday, and he starts off my New Year's with 3 points. I'm like, bro, I need at least 30. You left the other 20. Where'd you leave him at?
I don't know.
Like this is why. This is why basketball pisses me off because nobody does what they're supposed to ever. Every basketball player can make the all bust list in fantasy basketball because there's some nights where guys just check out. But nonetheless, my flex spot is again an arguable position, but I have Hollywood Brown in the flex spot. I know that Hollywood Brown probably isn't a first-round pick on anybody's bingo card, but nonetheless, Hollywood Brown's expectations compared to the reality of what he was this year was brutal. You know what I mean? Like some of you were probably smart enough to not start him the deeper you got into the season.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't because he was hurt. But you know what I mean? At the end of the day, like you're saying to yourself, like, I need to remove Hollywood Brown from the equation so that I'm not stressed out about what I'm going to do at this flex spot. But he's always had flex written all over him, and that's why I feel like I put him in that category as far as a disappointment. J.K. Dobbins. Ooh.
That's not his fault.
That was dark, Terrell. That was a cheap shot. That hurt bad. J.K. Dobbins was major disappointment. That's like the joke that Rick said earlier. He was in my flex spots. And then at defense, I'm gonna go with the Eagles DST because the Philadelphia Eagles defense is a defense that I drafted that I thought was going to be a major contributor as far as being able to get you fantasy football points. And it turns out that the Eagles defense wasn't. The Eagles defense was a reason why you were being deducted points a lot of the weeks you were playing them. Defenses like the Indianapolis Colts, that the Colts get scored on, but they were also getting turnovers every game and sacks. Like
that is true.
There was defenses out there that were making up for the amount of points that were being allowed to score on them. Where Philly's defense was just a liability, and that's why they make the bust list along with the other names that I have on here. I'm sorry, bro. It's the truth of the situation. That defense was the drizzling shits. Cowboys defense was a good play this year, most of the year. Titans defense was on waivers all year, but at the same time, they were giving people more points than the Eagles defense was a lot of the weeks that you actually chose to start them. You could actually pick your spots with the Titans, whereas I don't know what the Eagles defense allowed this last week against the Cardinals when they blew that game, but I know that they fucked my money line up, which
yeah, thanks a lot.
Congrats to that, which brings us to our next subject. The fact of the matter that we still don't know who the Eagles fan base wants to place the blame on for the Philadelphia Eagles and the majority of their problems. We know who's being scapegoated, A.J. Brown. That's why I stand in solidarity with him.
His initials are A.B.
Yeah, but according to Eagles fans, everything that he's saying, the media is misconstruing it. So I want them to explain to me who's actually at fault in this
Who's
situation.
the rata?
Because I want them to be able to place the blame on the guy they're not willing to place the blame on yet. And that guy might go by the name of Jalen Hurts, or it might go by the name of Nick Sirianni. And the problem is placing the blame on one of those two guys is going to mean admitting that you were wrong about those guys in the first place to begin with.
damn, Brown equals T.O.
Is that what we're saying? Is he the second coming of Terrell Owens going to the Eagles and going up against the quarterback who's a little bit more soft-spoken in the sense that Jalen Hurts is, and the sense that, Donovan McNabb was, as we all know Donovan was at the time? Donovan was firing back at T.O., though. He wasn't as, Jalen Hurts isn't really
scored
saying
points
anything.
off. Yeah, they scored that pick six, but that's about all they did great this past Sunday. You do realize the Cardinals didn't punt the entire game?
I mean, at the end of the day, in a fantasy playoff matchup, I wasn't starting the Eagles or the Titans defense. Like, they were both in the same boat by the end of the season. So, call it what you want. But I wasn't putting the Eagles out there for anything. The league that I had the Eagles defense in, I went 4-10. They were trash. Eagles defense ain't stopping anybody. Eagles defense couldn't even stop the Arizona Cardinals, who don't even have a wide receiver one right now. So, I mean, he's just out there throwing the guys. And James Conner, who now the Philadelphia run defense, the vaunted run defense that was number one for the majority of the season, has been one of the worst run defenses in December. So there's problems here.
Before the month of December started, they were the 6th ranked run defense. 6th ranked run defense. And I think 5th ranked total defense.
And James Conner went out there and had a resurgence. 2 touchdowns he scored?
Yeah.
So anybody
a one-handed grab.
Shit is just so I mean, I'm leaning more towards it being a multifaceted issue as far as Nick Sirianni being to blame, because everybody now realizes that Nick Sirianni is potentially in over his head. The dude is a mark. He's a goofball. He always was a goofball. The problem is that when the Philadelphia Eagles were winning all those games last year and the games they were winning,
remember how hyped they were about we got the Georgia defense?
Oh, you saw how he got into the fans' face. He's so Philly, man. That's the exact attitude we need. He's the face of the Eagles, man. Philadelphia Eagles fans.
They were condoning his behavior.
Philadelphia Eagles fans were condoning his behavior as long as the Eagles kept winning football games. But now that they're losing football games,
he's immature.
All of a sudden,
he's
under the microscope. He's not ready for the big moments. He was never ready for the big moments. It was clear in the Super Bowl. He was never ready for it. He just had offensive and defensive coordinators that could bail his ass out. And now he's out front and center getting exposed.
Jonathan Gannon was the problem.
He's out there getting exposed by a coach who just beat him, that was a part of that system, and realized they didn't change a damn thing because they couldn't. They don't have the creatives in the room to change anything. We can beat these guys, and we're not even trying to win football games.
Look at Shane Steichen.
Are you kidding me? Colts offense is innovative with Gardner Minshew, with Zach Moss when Jonathan Taylor went down. I just saw Alec Pierce get a freaking bonus touchdown this past week on a 70-something yard touchdown bomb they threw. Colts score points, like, with no problem. So you're not good on either side of the football right now heading into the playoffs, and you just gave up the NFC East, which I said you were going to win. I said the Eagles were winning the East.
That's why he's even more mad right now.
They're not going to win the East, not like this. You're going to beat the Giants because the Giants are always a get-right game for the Eagles. That's just life. But, like, dog.
Eagles fans, I bet you there were Eagles fans out there on Christmas Day saying, we're back. We back.
I don't know what they were saying. Like, I don't know what they were saying. But I know what they can't say. They can't say that they feel good about this football team heading into a playoff matchup where they're not – it doesn't even matter if you're in Philly because teams come to Philly and beat you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
And they might lose to the South.
All the Cowboys have to do is beat the Commanders this week, which I'm hearing Sam Howell is going to be the starting quarterback for the Commanders. Dallas,
I guess Brissett's hurt.
Dallas might be one of the only teams that is actually starting their starters because there's a lot of teams that have already announced that they're sitting guys. So we're going to see the Tyler Hunleys of the world and a bunch of guys who, I mean, I don't know. I haven't even wrapped my head around what Week 18 is going to be just yet. But I know that Dallas, Philly, technically, they're still playing for something because you're still playing for the division, a game to be able to play at home in your own stadium. It's more likely to me that Dallas will be playing in Jerry World now come playoff time You guys were right about Dallas.
And they're probably going to play they're probably going to play the Packers. And this time around, it's not Aaron Rodgers Packers. So they have a legit shot. Aaron Rodgers has been their Achilles heel. So
they swear it's going to be different come playoff time. I don't get that, and I'm an Eagles fan. I don't see it. So Terrell sees the writing on the wall. I see it myself, too. There's a good shot that Dallas can end up hosting, the 6th seed?
They're going to host the 7th seed, which is going to be the Packers.
Which would be the Packers, which that would be interesting. And then it would be the Eagles.
They got one thing going for them. Aaron Rodgers will not be the quarterback on the other side.
It will be the Eagles traveling to most likely Tampa Bay because Tampa Bay plays the Panthers this week. If Tampa Bay wins their football game, no matter what the Saints do, the Bucs are in the playoffs. And guess what, Eagles? You have no answer for Mike Evans. Rashad White is an active running back who apparently in the last 4 weeks you haven't had an answer for the running back position. And as far as the offense and how they would fare against this Bucs defense, I don't know. That would be the X factor in the situation. But the way you looked this past week, bro, y'all can mess around and lose to Baker Mayfield in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And just get sent back to Philly with nothing to show for this season.
Could you imagine Baker Mayfield ending the Eagles season?
Dallas won the division after the Cardinal loss. That's how it felt, really.
You see Chris here. I've always said Nick ain't a real coach. He's a yes man.
It was a conversation that was happening for a lot of people who weren't already wearing green jerseys. Because like I said, when you're winning football games, you don't care how you're doing it. You're just winning games. You'll focus on the problems later. Well, later has become now, and it's time to address the situation because now it's a matter of you guys potentially getting eliminated in the first round after being Super Bowl favorites. Somebody's at fault here. Somebody messed up. Somebody's in over their head. Where's the franchise quarterback going to go? He's still the franchise quarterback. It's still a question of his ability to perform in the big moment, but he's still going to be there next year. A.J. Brown, guess what? You paid him $25 million a year. He's still going to be there next year. Now we're going into the upper levels. Is it the coaching? Nick Sirianni, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. How many of these guys are going to be around next year? What will it take to keep them? Does a second round exit at least save everybody's job? Like, these are the dimensions of this conversation that we need to start having moving forward. Do they win in the first round?
I told you, Oscar, Eagles pay QBs and then they flake. Oh,
bro, there's no reason for losing the game.
Yikes.
Do we get a part 3 of Dallas versus Philly, which I would love to see that. Which I would need Philadelphia to win their wild card matchup. But then again, I needed Philly to win this past week to win $150, but they couldn't get the job done there. So I just need to get used to not needing them for anything because it just makes me a lot happier and more at peace.
All right, one leg of the parlay down.
Good shit.
Cavalier money line. Right now, I'm looking good with everybody else.
If the Eagles go to San Francisco, it's a wrap. They're not beating them out there. I think San Fran now knows what they can do, and they're going to go and try to do that again. And Baker might torch us. He might, dog. That's what he's been doing these last few weeks. He had his first bad week this week, which I was very thankful for, that he shit the bed to an extent because he still got himself a touchdown pass and got on the board. But this was like
to go backwards, but add Alexander Madison to that running back bus. We're not going backwards because we're not divulging away from
Alexander Madison was definitely.
We're not going to divulge away from the Eagles conversation. That's not many of you want.
We could talk about it. He was a bust, just like the Eagles' defense was bust. Like they're all in that same category, swimming. I read an
article today of some Philadelphia group page. Excuse me. Talking about, it was Brian Baldinger who said Jordan Davis is out of shape and that's why he's not as productive as he is this year. That he has too much weight on it and he looks slow out there and that's why the run's gashing him.
It just sounds like a bunch of excuses to me.
And that's Brian Baldinger, Baldy, who gives excellent breakdowns of film. And he's telling you, like the other day, like when we were watching the post game interview, remember he was like the tackling was terrible, this defense was terrible.
Yeah.
Baldy was just going to town on these guys.
Yeah, he was. He definitely was. Oh, look
Players
at that.
no longer conditioned.
Knicks are losing to the Bulls right now. It's amazing.
I know. I picked Knicks money lane.
Basketball, you know what? It's so awesome that football season's about to be over, and now I get to deal with more of this, of the Knicks losing games to the Bulls when you pick the Knicks money line.
So did I.
I can't wait for more basketball. Can't wait.
I think I'm going to cash out the 46 cents that's offered me.
Remember the cash out that we had a chance to cash out on New Year's Eve, but we thought the Eagles were going to finish the story. We had a chance to cash out. My cash out said $43. I'm not sure how much yours said.
Mine said $13 at one point for a $5 bet. So I would have made.
We stuck with it.
I would have made at least $8. So guess what happened,
dude?
I made $0 because the Eagles lost. So instead of winning $37 off of $5, I won jack shit on a stick.
We stuck with it because we kept seeing Arizona score, and we said to ourselves, "It's okay, it's okay,
bro."
It's okay.
I thought I said the Eagles had the ball back. Like a part of me, like I wanted to see the Eagles lose, of course, but the other part of me was like, "Bitch, you bet on them. Like you need this money."
And once I put money down on you, those other thoughts just get pushed to the back of my mind, and it's about winning the bet. And now I'm just like, "All right, buddy," you know what I mean? Like that's. All joking aside, I might poke fun, but let's get serious now. Like,
yeah.
Please, like at this moment in time, let's get serious. And they never, if anything, they just got more silly as the game went on. The meme of that woman asking the Eagles,
what the hell is going on?
They've been asking this team that question every week of the season, and they have yet to answer that question. Just answer the question. What the hell are you doing? And who's the rat?
Guess who will not be picked on my money line? Well, you know what? I'll pick the Eagles money line again this week. It's the Giants.
Playing the Giants. Yeah. Playing the that's
I'm gonna do Eagles. I'm gonna do Eagles money line. Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown.
There you go. You gotta start hitting on things that you know for sure are going
instead
to
of
happen.
My 14 pick.
Yeah,
my 14 pick.
You gotta reel it in. You got to reel it in sometimes.
My 14 pick touchdown.
I was frustrating myself by getting too creative with some of my picking.
Well, my 46 cents went down to 22 cents now.
Cash out.
That's because the Brooklyn Nets are now beating the Rockets by 2.
Yep. I picked Rockets.
And the Raptors are whooping Memphis's ass right now, 67-48.
I stayed away from that game. That's right, folks.
I should have stayed away.
We're going to be talking more basketball. We're going to be betting more basketball because we got no other choice. There's going to be nothing else on TV but basketball after the football season is over. So get ready for disappointment. Get ready for letdowns.
It's like this. I got greedy on Sunday when I bet the Steelers game. I hit Steeler money line. I hit Najee anytime touchdown. I hit Jalen Warren over rushing. I hit George Pickens over receiving. I hit Boswell over field goals. Well, my dumb ass got greedy.
You just lost control.
And put Mason Rudolph over 1.5 touchdowns. Had I not done that, I would have won $100. Nope. What I see when I put the Mason.
Why do you do it every year?
I don't know.
When it comes to the Steelers and why can't
but that's not bad for the Steelers to hit all those marks.
That's a lot of Steelers.
Here's my
that's
7
a big Steeler parlay.
Hey guys, let's hear my 7-pick money line parlay. Ravens, Niners, Colts, Rams, Bills, Texans, Eagles. Oh, thanks a lot, Philly. But here's the one that I just said, the hell with it. It was like $5. I didn't care. The Christian McCaffrey, Kyron Williams, Derrick Henry, Jalen Hurts, Isaiah Pacheco, Javonte Williams, Jetta, Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, Khalil Herbert, Mike Evans, James Cook, Jonathan Taylor, and Tyreek Hill. So out of those 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hit out of the 14.
That's crazy.
So maybe I should have just done those 6 and I would have won money.
You simplify it. You break it down into a little piece, a little morsel that you feel like you're going to be able to sink your teeth into.
Listen, that $44,000 was looking great at the moment.
I know. It always does look good. It's just behind this glass wall, and you can't get to that glass wall until you understand that there's a way. There's a way to it. There's a way to get some of it. You might not get all of it, but there's ways to get some.
It's a
It's a
woozy.
woozy and it's a wazi, and you just have to find ways to get certain things. Look, I picked the New York Knicks money line tonight. I picked the New York Knicks money line. I don't even know if Zach LaVine is out there playing, though. It was Knicks -9, which means I either do Knicks money line or Bulls +9, and I wasn't willing to do that. And they're currently down 6 to the Chicago Bulls without any of their starters. And they were trying to convince people to take the over on Brunson's points and assists, which was like 33.5. I spent all day looking at basketball because I needed to. I needed to understand what I was about to get myself into. And it's all a bunch of bullshit because the Kings can go out there and lose to the Hornets.
Listen,
and
whoever knows how to
be
bet
shot.
basketball, hit me up on the side and a direct message on Facebook. Put Elon in the group chat with it, and let's just make money together.
It's just, bro. You know, if anything, what's going to happen is it's going to help simplify fantasy basketball, which I guess is a good thing for my fantasy basketball teams. But it's just one of those things where you're just like, oh, I thought that fantasy baseball was pulling teeth. Like, this is so much worse than fantasy baseball. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, how do I do this? How do I parlay any of this when I don't believe in anything that's going to happen? You know, like what the hell?
Now I only got $8 left from my $25 because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to win my money line today.
Well, thanks to Jaden Reed and the Green Bay Packers, I made the $200 come up on New Year's Eve, and then I withdrew from that to my, you know what I mean? So I'm up. I'm using the up winnings, but like I don't want to run out of those because guys are just. Giannis is going the first quarter, not scoring any points. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, what is
Like,
that?
what are you doing?
What are you doing, bro? Like, what's the game plan for tonight? Are you checking out? At least give me a little disclaimer that says you're checking out. Over under 20 points, no more. I get it, bro. Dude, I did a 7-leg parlay where I took all the superstars of the NBA and I did the points plus section and I bet them to all go over for 20 plus, like Giannis, 20 plus Giannis, 20 plus Luka, 20 plus LeBron. If they don't hit the 20 plus, I don't know what else to do. Because I'm not out here making extravagant bets. I'm sitting here trying to build my bankroll, doubling up $10 into 20, 20 into 40 type shit. I'm not doing anything extravagant. Can you at least give me the minimum? And then we can work our way out from there. I don't trust any of these guys. I don't even know the more basketball I watch, the more disgusted I become with all these basketball teams. There is no clear-cut favorite to win the NBA Finals. They're not out there. They're not out there.
Agreed.
The Nuggets are not good on the road. The Celtics are lazy. Okay? The Lakers are in the 10th seed. All right, so let's just stop with that already. You know? The Sixers, they look good. I'll give them that, okay? We know how the story usually ends with them, but I'll give them the credit where it's due right now. The Sixers look good, and then it's a bunch of other teams that I haven't figured out yet that I know I can't trust. What do I think? OKC's going to go out there and win the finals? No, but they're out there beating contenders. OKC's out there running back and forth and you know, beating teams that matter. Are they going to get out of the West? I don't know. Like, credit to the Sixers. The Sixers do look good. And the Sixers have won me a couple of dollars this year. It's just you got to know how to bet them because shit gets all the woozies and the wazies start coming out. And then you start seeing shit that ain't really there. You know? Like Embiid's over for his rebounds, assists, and points was like at 53 something, 54. He smashed it. But like, you're not even looking that far ahead. You're looking at more attainable goals that never even end up happening in these prop bets, which is just, it's crazy. It's just freaking insane. Just putting yourself at risk. Trying to learn how to do this shit.
Yeah.
I exposed myself to the New York Knicks tonight, and now they're down 7 points to the Bulls, who are playing nobody. Just
My cash out option's at 19 cents. I'm seriously thinking of taking it.
I don't know. Don't ask me for advice on basketball because I am just learning on the fly. I dedicated a couple of hours of my day today to try to get this right, and there's still weird things that are happening. So I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know.
And the worst part is I forgot to put my freaking no sweat bet down.
I used my no sweat. I used my parlay boost on some stupid shit. I did a 6-leg parlay between the Kings and Magic game that's going down on 10-10, and it was the parlay boost that they gave you today that was a 50% boost. So I'm playing 5 for $45. But again,
Yep.
We got shit like last night where I hit 5 out of 6 legs, and the final leg was for the Celtics to beat the Thunder, and they go into the fourth quarter, and you just mail it in. You just mail it in, all the way in. 2 stamps on the letter before you mail it in. And you're just watching.
That sucks.
Like, there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can say. There's no next week to adjust it. You lost that ticket.
Yeah. How many points is Giannis at right now?
Giannis hit his total.
24.
Oh, we got a juicy one here. I gotta see. Gotta get back to you. Whoa. Took me to the fucking Sixers and Knicks.
Damn, they took the pick out.
Which one?
I was about to bet Giannis, but they hurried up and took it out.
Clippers blew my $200 card by Paul George. Hit the go-ahead score with 8 seconds left to beat the Warriors. I had the Warriors money line. They were up by 20 at the end of the third. Yeah, the Kings last night against the Hornets. The Kings go out there. They're sloppy as hell in the beginning of the game. I think Sabonis ended the game with like 11 turnovers, which was despicable. After the first quarter, they're controlling the entire basketball game. Kings. If the Kings win this basketball game, I'm up $40. All of a sudden, the fourth quarter happened, dog. And Terry Rozier and those pesky Hornets not only went out there and beat them, but I think they beat them by like 8 points, dog. Like, the Kings fell apart at home. And they're going into this with 3 minutes left, and they're up like 6. And I'm just saying to myself, like, bro, there's no more defense in this league. Nobody plays defense ever. The Bucks don't play defense anymore. The Bucks have regressed. Like, the Bucks are not going to the Eastern Conference
Finals. I just did an in-game prop. Fred VanVleet has 17 points. I just picked him to go over. I put $2 down to win 3.
That's Heather. Heather wins on the in-game live bet.
Let's see if it works.
She thrives on live betting, which is crazy because like we're watching shit and it's streaming, so we're getting the playback. She's making the right decision right at that moment, based on who has the possession, what's gonna happen next. Like she'll hit on those on the spot, and she'll usually use those to make up and recoup for whatever she loses if she's trying to bet something straight ahead. So her basketball night was a little bit better than mine because she had a good plan B. Like as far as her, I can't do live bet. I haven't tried to do one. I've never tried to do one. So I don't know. I don't know how to approach that yet. I'm trying to find my niche right now. I'm trying to find my anytime touchdowns, and it ain't gonna happen with the Pistons up 8 on the Jazz when I picked the Jazz minus 8.5. It's just not gonna happen.
Oh shit! Speaking of which, my payout went up to 30 cents. We went up. Somebody's leading. Rockets are down by 1.
Their defense there, pesky. Yeah, it's a close matchup. And that sucks because last 9 games, the only teams that the Nets have beaten are the Pistons twice. So the Nets have beaten literally nobody. They beat us tonight. That'll be annoying because I bet on Houston, and double annoying because they're my favorite basketball team. Double-edged sword. So I say basketball rarely gives you what you actually want, but I'm hoping for the best tonight, trying to figure this shit out. Pistons can hit. They have low games. Yeah. Utah's been on a little bit of a streak the last couple of weeks. Of course, we've got, shout out to the Supreme Baller Society. Buddy Hield, 3 points in my fantasy matchup this week against the worst team in the league. I'm probably going to lose. I'm not totally sure yet, but it ain't looking good. Oh, it's looking a little close. As for tonight's matchups, Jabari Smith has given me 13 points so far. He was my start tonight going up against Brooklyn. Young boy, Jabari Smith. I went with the homer pick, and I had
Don't worry,
other
Grant's only
plays.
giving me 2 points, and we're already near the second quarter ending.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, one of my best decisions in fantasy basketball. He gave me 52 yesterday. I accidentally benched him in my other basketball league yesterday, so he gave me a whole bunch of points on the bench. I am 6th out of 8 in that league. I need to start paying more attention.
Well, now you can.
Now I can. Now I have more time. I have more time.
That's how I look at it.
I have more time to allow basketball to piss me off because of the way that, it's only a 3-person bench, and you'd be amazed at how many people I leave on that bench week in, week out.
I'm good. With me being, the top-ranked team, Supreme Baller Society,
number 1 seed in Supreme Ballers,
8-2,
not bad. I'm sitting at number 6 right now. Currently, it's Oscar Money, it's Mac Miggs, it's Terrell in 3rd place.
And that's who I'm playing this week.
It's Mike D in 4th place, RJ in 5th, myself, the head chef, Drewski, and Netta in the 8th spot. We have the 8-team playoff format for this league. It's a 12-team league. I'm currently playing the 12th seed, so I kind of am hoping that I win. I'm also starting to lock in a little bit, especially since I'm starting to make wagers because it's forcing me to watch more basketball against my will. And, now here we are. So, but on the plus side, I did go, what do I press here? I did go 5-0 last week on my On the Money picks, which I'm pretty sure that means I'm going to be the On the Money picks champion.
Unless I go 10-0.
You have to go 10-0, and I have to go 0-5, right? I have to get one wrong. Okay. So that being said, I just have to get one wrong on my On the Money picks. I'm sitting at a record of 51-34 after going 5-0 last week on my picks. So it was a good week. It was a good week. Up a few bucks on the Money picks, fantasy championship. So I'm going to get a little wild with my week 18 on the Money picks since we just got a bunch of randoms that are going to be starting anyway at multiple games and multiple matchups. My number 1 pick overall, I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers beating the backups of the Ravens. I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts beating the Texans in, a game that's equally as big as the battle for the NFC South because these are the 2 contenders that are actually going head-to-head with the Colts and the Texans, and we got the Jacksonville Jags playing the Titans as well. But I'm taking the Colts over the Texans. I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons to win their matchup, and then I'm rounding it off at 4-5 with the Las Vegas Raiders and the Buffalo Bills. So try that money line out for size on Week 18. The beer money line. It's the Steelers, the Colts, the Falcons, the Raiders, and the Bills. It's a 2-day money line, so I'm not sure if you want to wait, the entirety of the 2 days, especially if disappointment rings the bell early on you. Just try the 2-leg on Saturday, see how it goes. But I'm going Steelers, Colts, Falcons, Raiders, and Bills for my On the Money picks this week.
Sounds good to me.
And then we'll see what happens from there because on next week's podcast we will actually have the real playoff picture. I'll be putting in a wager on what I think is going to happen once that picture is formulated. I'll probably make a couple of wagers on it to try to save my own ass. See how many I get right, see how many I get wrong, and potentially how much money is in it.
That should be win number 2. That's going to be win number 3.
We already know that the Baltimore Ravens,
Grizzlies, come on!
and the San Francisco 49ers will not be playing on Wild Card Weekend, Super Wild Card Weekend, or whatever the hell it's called.
The Steelers should not think this weekend's a win. Tyler Huntley's still going to have weapons out there.
Yeah.
And he is Pro Bowl Tyler Huntley.
You guys can't get cute out there. You're playing in Baltimore, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's still a lot to play for some teams. Other teams, good luck picking anytime touchdowns this week. That's what I was thinking about because there's going to be a lot of backups out there. So if you hit on your anytime touchdowns this week, you deserve it. I'm going to start doing my research since there's no Thursday night football tomorrow. I'm going to get a head start on it and see what I can come up with for the slate for Week 18. I need a basketball championship for my trophy case. See, I need a basketball and a baseball. I'll be happy to get into the playoffs.
I get why we
this year
don't
for
put
basketball.
money in this league because
I get it. Because basketball just sucks.
it's happening right in the middle of football season.
I'm not in tune, bro. It's it's week 7 of the NFL season when we're drafting for basketball. I'll be honest with you, bro. I'm not looking all the time. I'm you know what I mean? Like I'm distracted. I was in 12 leagues. It's a mess. It's a freaking mess. I'm not looking at everything, but I see the picture clearly now. I'm focused.
And people auto-drafted. That is correct.
People auto-drafted. And right now, Dallas is beating the brakes off the Portland Trailblazers. They had the highest plus-minus on the day. It was Dallas minus 12, and I didn't take it because I just wasn't sure.
I took
That's
Dallas.
what basketball. Did you take the spread or the money line?
Money line.
I took the money line. I just didn't do the minus 12 spread. I took the spread on the Utah Jazz, who are now down to the Pistons, though, so it shows you what I know.
I also took the money line on them. My cash out option's at 52 cents. If it could get to $1, I'll cash out.
My cash outs are suspended. So
my cash out for Fred VanVleet is suspended as well.
Brace yourself for more basketball talk on the podcast. Brace yourself for much more of that in the offseason. Off-season football news. We'll prepare for baseball. Anything that needs to be discussed. So heavy on the Supreme Baller Society talk. And also us kind of bringing the knowledge to the forefront as far as what we're learning with some of this basketball. Some of the things that we're learning how to do, especially what we're learning not to do. And, you know, NFL playoffs, put up or shut up time. How many of these teams are actually going to survive? Give your hot takes next week on this podcast. The official NFL playoff tree will be finalized. All the teams that made the cut, the teams that missed the list, and we have everything that we need to go off of as far as making our re-predictions compared to what we thought we knew in August. Making our playoff predictions. Whoever's putting a wager on it, your new Super Bowl pick, if you have one. I have to make a new one because the way it's looking, neither of those teams is anywhere close to the Super Bowl as far as how I imagined it back in August. So my new official picks for the Super Bowl, MVPs, the woozies, the wazies, all that good stuff. It's good to play alternate spreads in basketball. Yeah, that's what Heather was telling me. I'm going to, again, as far as betting basketball goes, guys, like I'm very confident when I put together anytime touchdown parlays in football. I don't have that same confidence with basketball yet. So I'm sort of just finding my level. Tonight is a big night because I'm trying some of the prop bets. And as always, I'll share what I got right and what I got wrong.
I got it all wrong.
I'll leave you with Oscar on that note.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a fine edition of On the Money Sports. We will be back next week, gearing you up for the playoffs, because it's going to be an unbelievable wild card weekend next weekend. But we still got a great weekend matchup slate. Starts Saturday, ends on Sunday with Buffalo, Miami. Great games. I hope everybody has a good weekend. And again, I guess today's the last day of acceptability to say Happy New Year to all. So I hope everybody has a good New Year. Stay safe, stay good. Just try to be a better person. That's what everybody should set for. But until next time, we'll see you next week on All the Money Sports. Take it easy.